Hey, friends, thanks for joining. As you may have figured out by now, we're moving in a few days, and I did my best to kind of get the boxes out of the way, but we got a lot of boxes. So sorry for the eyesore. Hopefully you won't mind. I don't think you will. For those of you who live in Chicago, we're just moving a few blocks north. Newer building. We've lived here for 18 years, and it's time for a change. So we're looking forward to a move a few blocks north into I think a better building with some cool amenities in there. So anyway, let's begin on our backs. Go ahead and lie down. And just extra basta, make yourself comfortable. However, if it feels better for you to have your knees bent, that's fine. Just make yourself comfortable here on your back, just for a minute or two. Once you are on your back, relax your jaw, soften your eyes. Just allow the floor to take your body weight. And then begin to practice pratyahara by drawing your awareness and your senses inward. So you really notice how it feels to be in your body today at this time. And if you haven't already, also begin to notice your breath and start to feel your body breathe. And just another minute here. Okay, now at this point, continue breathing freely through your nose and just use your hands to draw your right knee in toward your chest and make some circular motions with your right foot so you mobilize that ankle. And of course, go both directions. Good. Now bring your hands down and make a circular motion with your right leg. Make a big circular motion with your right leg and let your right knee bend freely so you can make a big circle with your thigh here. And now go the other direction. All right, then hold your right thigh and press your right foot up toward the ceiling. So you open the back of your right knee and then close the back of your right knee and open. So flex and extend your right knee 5 or 6 times. See if you can press your foot a little bit higher toward the ceiling every repetition. And then keep your right foot up for a few breaths. Imagine you're standing on the ceiling with the sole of your right foot. I'll make it a little more challenging. Don't use your hands, but don't let your foot drop either. Good. Bring your right leg down and just change sides. So draw your left knee in toward your chest, and then make a circular motion with your left foot so you mobilize that ankle. And go the other direction. Okay, now bring your hands down and make a circular motion with your left thigh. So you mobilize that hip. Both directions. All right, now hold your left thigh. Press your left foot up toward the ceiling, then bend your left knee and straighten your left knee, just like the first side. And see if you can open the back of your left knee a little bit more every repetition. And once it feels like you've gone to both sides, an equal number of times, keep your left leg up. Imagine standing on the ceiling with the sole of your left foot now. All right, good. Pull both knees into your chest now and make circles with them so you massage your lower back on the floor. And go the other direction. All right, now go the first direction again with those certain knee circles, that is, but without using your hands. So you get a little more core engagement. Other direction. Okay, now one more like this. Make circles with both knees, but in opposite directions. And then change directions. All right, just a couple more in the supine position. Let's do some windshield wipers next. So bring your feet to the floor. Now, have your feet to the floor on the floor, knees bent, and begin with your feet together. Have your feet together, and arms out like a T or like a cactus. And then when you exhale, drop your knees to one side, turn your head to the other side. Inhale, bring your knees up and look up. Now drop your knees to the second side. Good. Now, once you've gone to both sides, open your feet, let's say a few inches, and repeat. Exhale, drop your knees to the first side. Inhale when you bring them back up, then exhale and drop your knees to the second side. Good. Back up, open your feet a little bit wider, and just continue doing that a few more times. So once you've gone to both sides, open your feet a little bit wider until your feet end up the width of your mat. Now, of course, moving slowly. There's no need to rush with plenty of time. And as I mentioned, beginning to coordinate the movements with the breath a little bit. Breathing through your nose, preferably though, not hearing the breath move in and out of your throat. So you're practicing ujjayi pranayama. Okay. Now, once your feet have gone or out of the width of the mat, go back to the first side, but have your feet whatever distance, whatever width felt most interesting to you. And then stay there. You can bring your foot on top of that opposite thigh there so you have a strong, deep internal rotation. Great. And then change sides. Okay, good. Back to the center. Pull your knees into your chest. Now, just one more here in the supine position for now. Let's do some bridging. And let's do the same thing with our feet that we did in the windshield wiper. So begin with your feet together. Feet on the floor and then together. Arms down by your sides. Now, as you inhale, press your feet down. Lift your hips and lift your arms. Keep inhaling until the backs of your hands are on the floor behind you. And then when you exhale, slowly lower your hips and your arms. Once they're down, open your feet a few inches. And then repeat. Inhale. Lift your hips, arms overhead. Exhale, arms and hips down. Once they're down again, open your feet a little wider and keep doing that like before. Eventually, your feet will end up the width of the mat. Inhaling up, exhaling down. And once your feet are the width of the mat, bring them back to whatever width felt most interesting for you in bridge pose, and keep your hips up, but bring your arms down. And stay in bridge or Setu Bandhasana. Practice your ujjayi here as well, so you hear the inhale pass through your throat, and you hear the exhale pass through your throat. All right, great. Then lower your hips. Draw your knees into your chest. Now, if you have a lower back issue, it might just feel better to roll off to a side and push yourself up. If it feels okay, though, maybe rock a little front and back to massage the muscles along your spine. Okay, then let's all come up to seated and just stretch your right leg forward, bend your left knee, and use your hands to massage your left foot. It'll wake up all its little joints. Great, now change sides. Wake up your right foot. Okay, now lean back on your hands, bend your knees. Let's revisit those windshield wipers. Exhale when you drop your knees to a side. Inhale, bring them back up, and then change sides. And go ahead and lean back, like I mentioned. Take plenty of weight on your hands so you don't feel any compression in your spine. Right now, the next time you drop your knees to your left, lift your right hand and lift your hips as well. You can keep your knees down, but lift your hips so you get a nice side stretch. Now, of course, if this bothers your left wrist down there or shoulder, you can skip this part. Otherwise, then just have a seat again and change sides. Drop your knees to your right. Reach with your left hand and lift your hips. And keep going. So you inhale in the center and you exhale and kind of stretch to one side. Oops. Okay, let's go back to that first. So drop your knees to your left and I'll make some circular motions with your upper body. Let's make some circles with your upper body. You can make some small circles, make some big circles, hands on the floor, maybe hands off the floor, whatever feels good. All right, let's change sides. So drop your knees to your right now and make some of those circles with your upper body. Check out this side. Great. Now, go back to the center, cross your ankles. Let's come up to all fours and do some kneeling salutations next. Inhale here and extend your spine so your sternum moves away from your navel. And then exhale back into dog pose. Inhale to your hands and knees, extend your spine. And now exhale back into child's pose. Now this inhale, sweep your arms up, open the fronts of your hips. And exhale back to child's pose. And we'll begin that sequence again. Inhale to all fours. And then exhale back to down dog. Inhale to your hands and knees. Lift your chest. Look forward. Exhale to child's pose. Tighten your abdomen on the way back. Inhale, reach up. And exhale back to child's pose. I'll talk you through that sequence one more time. Inhale to table pose. Exhale to dog pose. Inhale back to the table. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, reach up. Some people call this candlestick pose. And exhale back to child's pose. Okay, let's go through that sequence a couple more times on your own, at your own pace. Really using the movements of your body to help stretch the breath. Next time you're in down dog, let's stay there. Let's all meet in this next down dog. And once you're there, it might feel good to pedal your feet back and forth a little bit and or shift your hips a little bit side to side. Okay, let's come back down to all fours and we'll just do bird pose next. One of my favorites. Deceivingly challenging. So from here, bring your knees closer toward each other and then lift your left leg back and up. Left leg backing up nice and high. So you'll feel your left glutes engage. Hopefully you'll feel the front of your left hip, your hip flexors release a little bit. Now, chances are when you did that, you kind of lighten the load on your right hand and your right elbow bent. See if you can press down equally into both hands. Push the floor away with both hands equally so you straighten both elbows and even spread your shoulder blades. At this point, you should feel your left leg and hip engaging quite a bit. Take a few more full, smooth breaths here. Okay, bring your left knee down and change sides. Right leg back and up. As you lift your right leg up, push the floor away with both hands, both elbows straight, and spread your shoulder blades. Keep lifting your right inner thigh, especially away from the floor. Good, let's go back to the first side. Left leg back and up. Push the floor away. Spread your shoulder blades, and now make a circular motion with your left leg. As you make this circular motion, don't skip bird pose. So make sure you go back to this position, at least for a split second, and then continue with that circular motion. Keep pushing the floor away. Now change directions, go the other way. All right, now change sides. Right leg back and up. Push the floor away with both hands. And then make the circle with your right leg. So kind of like earlier, obviously you feel your right hip get mobilized, but also you feel your core engage to support yourself here. Go the other direction. All right, great. Then bring both knees down and have a seat. So if it's comfortable, sit on your heels. If that hurts, of course, you can use a prop to elevate your hips or just sit however you need to. But then once you're in a seated position, a comfortable seated position, bring your palms together and make a circular motion with your hands so you mobilize your wrists. It might feel good if you give a little pressure when the backs of your hands are together here. Okay, now reverse it and go the other direction. Okay, bring your fingertips to your shoulders. Make big backward circles with your elbows so you open your chest and rib cage. Now alternate sides and add a twist. So as you bring one elbow back, bring the other elbow forward and turn your shoulders. You'll feel a little core activation to make that turning happen as well, like a little bit of a dynamic twist. All right, great. Let's return to down dog. Now, this time in down dog, maybe press your thighs back a little bit further, especially the very tops of your thigh bones. Now, sometimes it helps to bend your knees a little bit to press the tops of your thigh bones back a little further. Okay, now tuck your chin. Exhale all the breath out. The very end of this exhale, pause the breath. So suspend the breath after you exhale and suck your navel back toward your spine so you hollow out your abdomen for a second or two. And relax your abdomen. Inhale and repeat. Exhale all the breath out. Very end of exhale, all three bandhas, emphasizing Uddiyana bandha, so it feels like you hollow out your abdomen. Let's try that one more time. All right, good. Let's rock forward to plank pose just for a breath or two, and then lower all the way to the floor. Once you're on the floor, just relax in the crocodile. Let's take a few full, smooth breaths here. Imagine filling your torso with breath. All right. Now, bring your left leg out to the side for the half frog. Bring your left knee out to the side. So your left knee is at like in a 90-degree angle, and your left toes are pointing out as well. And chances are when you do that, you'll lift your left hip up a little bit. But so see if you can sink your left hip back down toward the floor in this frog variation. And then once you've done that, lift your left foot and ankle up and down 5 or 6 times. So you actively internally rotate this thigh and hip. And then ask it to hover off the floor for a few breaths. Good. Bring that foot down. Slide your legs together and change sides. Now bring your right leg out to the side. And you can drop it out to the side too. So your right knee is at about a 90-degree angle. Remember, when you do that, your right hip probably lifts up. So now see if you can drop that hip down toward the floor a little bit. Then lift your right foot and ankle up and down 5 or 6 times. And then ask it to hover. Good. Bring it down, slide your legs together, and let's come into Sphinx pose next. So you're on your forearms, elbows directly under your shoulders. Grip here with your hands and pull your rib cage forward away from your hips. Create a little length in your waist. Once you've created that length, bend your knees. Same thing or similar thing. When you bend your knees, your hips will want to lift up. See if you can keep pressing your hips down as you bend your knees. And then make some circles so you rotate your thighs again. As you keep your hips down during these circles, also continue to pull your rib cage away from your hips so you can keep that length in your lower back. Go the other direction. Okay, let's do the side scorpion next. Bring your left arm out to the side with your palm facing down. Roll to your left and bring your right foot to the floor behind you. And then slide your left foot in the other direction so you split your legs, reaching your right foot towards your left hand. Take a few full, smooth breaths here. Okay, unwind and change sides. Right arm out to the side, palm facing down. Roll to your right and bring your left foot towards your right hand. Split your legs. Take a few full, deep breaths. Good. Back to the center. Now bring both arms out to the sides. Both arms out to the sides. And lift everything up. Lift your head, lift your arms, and lift your legs. Lift everything up. Then keep everything up. But the next time you exhale, bring your feet together and bring your palms together. As you inhale, open your arms and legs wide, maybe curl up a little higher. And then repeat, exhale, feet together and palms together. Inhale, open your arms and legs and curl a little higher. Try that a few more times. All right, then relax. When you're ready here, push yourself up to table pose and then return to child's pose. Now, when you're in child's pose, make sure your knees are about shoulder width. They shouldn't be together. Have your knees like shoulder width or so. And lean forward. Once you're in child's pose now, focus on breathing into your back so you literally feel the back of your rib cage expand. When you inhale, like you're breathing into the area behind your heart. Now walk your hands over toward the left side of your mat and then breathe into the right side of your rib cage as if you could breathe more into your right lung. Okay, change sides. Breathe into the left side of your rib cage and your left lung. Okay, back to the center. Let's come up to all fours and return to down dog. Then from down dog, lift your right foot up, lift your right leg up. Then bend your right knee and open your hips, kind of like felt a little bit in that side scorpion. Imagine you're going to try to bring your right foot towards your left hand, even though it won't, of course, reach, but you're reaching that direction, moving in that direction, kind of like the side scorpion. And then straighten your right leg again, level out your hips. Exhale all the breath out, step your right foot forward to the outside of your right hand into the lizard lunge. Once you're in the lunge, make some movements here with your hips, make some circles, you can bend your knee, straighten your knee, whatever feels good here in this first lunge. Still moving slowly though. No need to rush, we have plenty of time. Usually in yoga, slower and smoother is better. Great, let's change that. So step back into down dog. Now lift your left leg up, bend that and open your hips like you're in the side scorpion again. Then straighten your left knee, level out your hips, step your left foot forward to the outside of your left hand and make those movements now on this side. All right, and then step your right foot forward. Have your feet wide, like the width of your mat or so. Let your knees be at least a little bit bent, and then cross your arms and allow the weight of your arms and your head to decompress your spine. Once you're here, maybe turn your head side to side like you're saying no. Up and down like you're saying yes. And then allow the weight of your head to decompress your spine a little bit more. All right, good. Now bring your hands to your hips and with your knees bent and a strong back. Let's come all the way up to standing. Finally. Okay, now we're just going to do a couple different standing poses and movements. Next, we'll just do a basic squat. Now, I should say in these squats, oftentimes, almost always in yoga, when you flex your spine, you exhale. When you extend your spine, you inhale. Like cat-cow. Happens a lot, including in usually the way I do the squats. Keep in mind, though, one reason why squats are a good functional movement is because not only do you sit down and stand up a lot, but also if you lift something up, let's say you have to lift up one of these boxes, which I'll be doing a lot of in the next few days. You want to be able to, you want to squat to pick something up. You want to use your legs more than your back, right? At some point, when you begin to move weight, when you load your body with weight, the breathing should get a little bit differently than we usually do in yoga. So when I'm lifting these boxes, especially if they get heavy, what you want to do is inhale, grab the thing you're going to lift up, and then as you're coming up, you exhale because you need some explosive power to lift things up, right? So keep that in mind when if you are doing things like lifting something, you need to use your breath skillfully. And like I mentioned, sometimes you kind of flip the way you breathe when you do things in the real world. So anyway, keep that in mind, and I won't cue the breathing for these squats. You experiment and see which one feels more effective for what we're doing. So have your feet about the width of the mat, or at least shoulder width, let's say. All we're going to do is come into a squat and reach your arms forward, and then come back up. I'm just going to do like 10 of these kind of squats. You can experiment. You can exhale down, inhale up. You can inhale, hold the breath, and then exhale back up. That's what the way weightlifters do it a lot of times. So just kind of experiment and find a skillful use of your breath to do these nice squats. As I mentioned, oftentimes when you squat, you want to make sure your toes are pointing forward and avoid your knees knocking inward. Most of us need to think about resisting our knees away from each other as we squat. There's a few more times. All right, good. Now, let's change up a little bit. Oftentimes, when you do lift something up, you'll have one foot a little further back than the other. So think about if you're like bending down real low to pick up a package from the floor. It's a little more effective for most people to have one foot a little bit back. And when I squat down, that back heel is going to lift up. So be something like this, so I can get really low now. In this case, my right heel is off the floor. My right foot's a little further back than my left. And notice how low I can get now. And then I'll lift back up. Now, of course, you try to keep your torso as vertical as possible. You'll lean a little bit, but you're trying to have a flat back, so to speak, on the way up and down. So let's try some of those. Start with your feet together. Then slide your right foot back just a little bit. Bend down to a deep squat. Let your right heel lift off the floor. Imagine you're picking up a package from the floor. And then stand back up. And then back down and back up. Let's try 5 or 6 more of those. So doing this with that back heel off the floor will put significantly more weight on the other leg, the foot that's flat on the floor. That leg works harder. So it's a good way to strengthen one leg a little bit more than the other leg. And of course, in a moment here, we'll change sides. Now make sure you still want to avoid your knees knocking inward. Think about your knees staying separate from each other. Okay, let's change sides. So right foot forward, left foot just a little bit back. Let your left heel lift off the floor as you squat all the way down. And then come all the way back up. Hips lower than shoulders the entire movement. With a skillful use of your breath. A few more times. All right, very good. Then come up into mountain pose. Close your eyes, just find your balance here. Smooth out your breath if necessary. Great. Now come into whatever kind of squat you want. Readjust your feet, come into a nice squat, and we're just going to hang out here for 30 seconds or so. Once you're in this squat, it might feel good to make little micro movements, so it's kind of sinking there a little bit deeper. Continue to smooth out your breath. All right, now shoot your right foot back into a lunge. This time, they'll bring your right knee down. And let's lift all the way up into a low lunge. So you're kind of like in a kneeling 90-90 here. Of course, if it bothers your right knee, you can add extra padding down there. All right, now we're going to do a little more complex of a movement. We're going to call this like a half windmill. So I'm going to ask you to do a start here, interlace your fingers behind your head. And then we're going to try to imagine you're going to bring, so your left knee is up. Imagine you're going to bring your left elbow to the floor inside your left foot. It probably won't reach, but imagine you're going to bring your left elbow down there. And then we're going to lift it back up and turn. So I'm going to bring my left elbow up and turn to the left side, open my chest and ribcage, and come into like a little bit of a twist. And then repeat, bring your left elbow down toward the floor. Right elbow can come up, by the way. And then bring your left elbow up and turn to the left. Just try a few more of those, like a little bit of a windmill type motion. Now try to keep your hips really stable. It's good for stabilization of your lower body as you rotate and turn your upper body. Good for core strength and hip stability. Couple more times. All right. Bring your arms down and just change sides. So bring your left knee down, right knee up. And again, you're not in a super deep lunge. You're like a kneeling 90-90 position. Interlace your fingers behind your head. Open your chest and rib cage here. Now bring your right elbow down toward the floor, left elbow up. And then lift your right elbow and turn to your right. Exhale here. Inhale here. But kind of like the squatting movements. You can really change the breath up to however you need, but make sure you are breathing skillfully, doing your best to keep good lower body stability and work our core to make this upper body movement happen. All right, great. Now, one last time, back to down dog. Let's take a few breaths here. Now return to your hands and knees. Extend your spine. Just cross your ankles. Have a seat. Stretch your legs forward. And then we're just going to lie onto our backs again. Once you're on your back, draw your knees into your chest. Make those knee circles with or without the use of your hands. Smooth out your breath again. Both directions. Okay, I was going to revisit a couple of those opening movements we did. First with the bridging again. So go back to whatever width that felt most interesting for your feet. Inhale up and exhale down 5 or 6 times. And then stay up in bridge pose for a few slow, smooth breaths. See if you can really open the fronts of your hips again. Okay, lower your hips. Let's revisit the windshield wipers as well. So drop your knees side to side on your own, at your own pace. Okay, stay on the first side. And then the second side. And pull your knees into your chest. Let's wrap this portion of class up with tadaka mudra. So use the strength of your arms and legs to really lengthen your spine. Tuck your chin. Exhale all the breath out. Very end of exhale. Like earlier, suck your navel back so you hollow out your abdomen for a second or two. Then relax. Inhale and try that a couple more times. Exhaling all the breath out, then all 3 bandhas. All right, relax your arms and legs and do whatever it feels like you need to do to make yourself super comfortable for Shavasana. Now let's get really comfortable again. Relax your jaw, soften your eyes, even release your breath so you're not shaping it or controlling it. Not really practicing pranayama right now, but continue with your pratyahara. So you're still drawing your awareness inward, watching on the inside, almost like you're watching someone else. All right, begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, roll your ankles and wrists, and take the next minute or so to work yourself back up to seated and now into any comfortable seated posture. All right, let's just do a few short rounds of kapalabhati next. This first round, rest your hands in your lap or on your knees, whichever is more comfortable. Sit up nice and tall and do 36 kapalabhati breaths. After 36, take a deep ujjayi inhale. And now pause, retaining the breath in. As you retain the breath in, just practice being really still. And of course, don't strain. When it feels like you need to exhale, then just exhale and allow yourself to breathe freely again. All right, good. Next round of 36, arms up, interlace your fingers, and press your palms toward the ceiling. After 36, arms down, deep breath in, then pause. Just find that stillness again. Great. Last 36, arms up, bend your elbows, and touch your shoulders. After 36, arms down, deep breath in, then pause. Just practice being still. And once you've exhaled this time, if it feels like you need to change the cross of your legs or adjust your seat in any way, take care of that. And then practice jiva mudra by bringing the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth. Then slide it forward so the tip of your tongue touches the gum line where the roof of your mouth and your front teeth meet. And focus all of your attention now on the sensation the breath is creating as it's rising and falling through both nostrils. Be really aware of the sensation the breath creates when it rises and falls through both nostrils. And if you notice one nostril feels more open than the other, then just shift your awareness and begin to focus on the breath rising and falling through the less active side until it feels like the nostril flow balances out. Relax your tongue, release that technique, and move your awareness into your brain. Now bring your awareness into your brain and see it very clear and open like an empty blue sky. See and feel your mind very clear and open like an empty blue sky. If a thought arises, just see it as a single cloud passing through the sky. So allow it to come, acknowledge it, but then allow it to pass. Once it has passed, then again, notice your mind, very clear and open, just like an empty blue sky. And bring your palms together. The Anjali Mudra. Take one last moment to enjoy the peace you've created through the practice. Start to rub your palms together, create a little heat in your hands. Once you build some heat, rest your hands over your eyes. Feel it moving and recharging your senses. And take one last slow, smooth breath in here. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Thanks for joining. Hope you enjoyed class. Have a fantastic day. Still some rooms available for my Portugal retreat in September and October. Let me know if you're interested. Hope to see you again soon.